Hello, hello. This is Adelai Brown, your heart coach, and I wanted to jump on today and talk with you a little bit about opposition and error. Opposition and errors. Um, we are on a mission to grow heart equity and cultivate heart equity. What is that? Personal, relational, and financial wealth grown through authentic living. I truly believe that we're in a space in our world right now where it is very imperative for us to be very intentional about taking care of our heart. What is our heart? Our mind, our will, our emotions, the reasons why we do what we do, our motives, our perspectives, all of these things lie within our hearts. And so I believe that by growing and cultivating heart equity, we grow emotional, mental, spiritual, physical, financial stamina that allows us to be able to authentically grow and thrive in this world, and also be able to support others in doing the same thing. So I'm really excited about being on this journey with you. So just wanting, I don't want to assume that you know who I am. So I wanted to share that with you. You can also, in the description, you can check out my link tree and find out about my books and find out about ways that I can help and serve and encourage you. And I encourage you to subscribe to my page, check out the previous videos that have been put out there, because they're very helpful, very inspirational. And I'm not just saying it because it's me, but I have found myself listening to my own words and just being shocked that, wow, God is really using me. And I'm even getting a lot of benefit out of that. So it's just shocking when you come from a space of not valuing who you are, and then you're able to gain strength from even listening to yourself. And I believe that we all have characteristics that others can benefit from that are very valuable. And I truly believe that we're in a season that we need to be very hyper intentional and very focused on living our best life. And I don't mean that from a very superficial commercial standpoint. I believe that living your best life is living your life on purpose. I believe that we were all put here to bring glory and glorify God through the way that we live our lives. That's our purpose for being on earth. Now, how we glorify him, how we serve him, how we express ourselves are the infinite ways that God shows up in the earth. And he shows up through our uniqueness and our creativity and our capacity to love others and able to forge forward and overcome obstacles. These things, the way that you do that in your own life is unique to you, and it's also something that others could benefit from. And so tomorrow, some of you may or may not know, I teach a community business academy where I work with entrepreneurs at various places in their lives and in their businesses, and we help them pretty much create a business plan and really flesh out their business ideas, what they're doing, why they're doing it, and kind of help them get focused and get the resources they need to continue to grow their businesses. So I've taught the class now. This is my third semester as the lead instructor, but I've been in six. I've graduated from the course where I was also like a class manager in the course. And then, wow, I just thought about that. Okay. And then I did the next session. Okay, so I've been in 5 semesters of the class where I've been the lead instructor in 3. And so tomorrow is graduation for the students. And I've been thinking about what what I wanted to share. I'll be able to share a few words. And I decided I wanted to talk with the Heart Tribe about it today, because I believe that, some of you, of course, won't be at the graduation, even though it'll be streamed live on Facebook, and I'll share it on my Facebook page. What I thought about was, a lot of times when you decide and you set your intention that you're going to live right and you're going to do what God has called you to do, you're going to experience a lot of opposition and you're going to make a lot of mistakes. And when I say you're going to experience a lot of opposition and make mistakes, a lot of time the opposition um, it will be blanketed in these mistakes, and these mistakes will be blanketed in the opposition. And what I used to think of in my former years and former times in my life, I thought that opposition meant that I must be doing something wrong. If I make a mistake, or what I defined as a mistake, I must be doing something wrong. What I have found is you won't necessarily figure out what's right until you've done a few things wrong. Sometimes you have to try. It's like the household cleaner 409. Why is it named 409? Do you know? It's named 409 because it worked. The ingredients, the solution that they mixed up worked on the 409th time. So have you tried anything in your life 409 times? Have you put in any effort to try to make something work 409 times or even more than that? And maybe in your industry and what you're focusing on, you need to try 4,009 times. Maybe what you're doing, you just need to try 4 times, but you won't even try 1 time because you're too worried about the opposition and or the errors. So I wanted to talk to you today about this because I feel like you need to know that the opposition is just a sign that you're where you need to be. And I was listening to one of my coaches this morning, and I wanted to remind you of this. Sometimes you do need to quit. You need to quit doing that thing you hate. You need to quit doing that. You need to quit putting yourself in rooms and environments where people don't love and support you the way you need it. You need to quit believing that you can't do it when you absolutely can. So when people say quitters never win, the devil is a liar. Quitters do win. People who quit doing foolishness, people who quit doing stuff they don't need to do so that they can make time to do the things that they need to do. I quit trying to find a job. True story. This summer, I decided I was done with being a business owner. I was done with being an entrepreneur. I wanted to give up on life. And when I say I wanted to give up on life, I didn't even really know what that meant. I just knew that I was in so much pain. I didn't want to deal with anything. I barely wanted to take a shower, much less pay bills, be responsible, be a mother, be a wife. It was just a lot. It was a lot. And so I decided that, I'm just going to get to a space where I could dissolve my businesses. I started thinking about how I could do that. And then I started applying for jobs. And it's nothing wrong with having a job. Of course, it's nothing wrong with having a 9-to-5. It's nothing wrong with having a career that you work in where I look at having a career. I talk about career professionals because I work with professionals and help them upgrade themselves in their profession, help them leverage their skills and abilities so that they can increase their impact while increasing their income, right? And so I just want to preface this with that because sometimes I feel like some entrepreneurs do throw shade like, oh, you need to quit that job. And no, because that ain't everybody's lot in life, and I understand that, but it was mine, right? So I started trying to get a job. Now, because of the grand scheme of things that I'm working on, it still kind of makes sense to me to get this job that I was trying to get. But the initial motive I had behind getting a job was I wanted to quit pursuing my passion because I just felt like it's too hard. Being a business owner is too much work. There's always so much going on. People are so fickle. I just had all the reasons why I wanted to quit. It was a lot of opposition. There were errors, right? There were things that were going wrong that I felt like they were going wrong. I felt like things were going bad. And so I came up and in my mind I needed to quit. So I started saying, I'm going to quit my business and I'm going to go back to getting a job. And what I realized when I really got still and got quiet and, stayed, I feel like like if anybody read the story about how Jacob wrestled with the Lord, I feel like I wrestled with God to get back to the space, because I deep down inside I didn't want to give up. But the pain from losing my mama and just the realization that I got to do life without her, it just seemed like too much. Too many of my goals and plans. My mama was the original heart coach. My mama been doing this type of work, but it wasn't well received. People would tell her she was too sensitive and nobody wants to talk about that. And I know what that feels like because I went through that. But I understand the power of growing heart equity. I understand the power of doing heart work. I understand the power of when we lock in and say, hey, I'm going to be honest and allow myself to be enlightened to the truth in my life and not these lies I've been believing, right? I'm going to be authentic. I'm going to keep it real. I'm going to stop faking the funk. Like people used to say back in the day, I'm going to actually keep it real and do what it is that I need to do. Like, I understand that that's not easy. And I feel like ever since I was a little kid, I've been encouraging people. I would sit down and have conversations with adults and encourage them and uplift them and tell them they can do it. I've been doing this. So to think that I could quit is like quitting being who I am. But there were other things, insecurity, doubt, low self-esteem, that's been with me for a long time. So I thought that that's who I was too. And going through this last rough season of my life, I feel like God has stripped a lot of that stuff away because I now know the truth. I believed it intellectually, but I know it in my heart. But I had to wrestle with God because losing my mama made me have to see. I had to lose somebody I love that much to see how valuable I really am. And you don't have to go through that. So I'm saying all of that to say I started trying to get a job because I was trying to avoid doing the hard work myself, much less doing hard work with other people. But in the background, now we did the 21-day fast. And then we started the Wednesday morning prayer. And then from doing the Wednesday morning prayer, now we back doing Heart Talk Live every Tuesday. In the intimate setting that I desired it to be, that I felt like God wanted it to be, right? So the podcast will be coming back now. I'm be going live on YouTube at least twice a week. Why? Because we got to make these connections. All of that came because I did quit. I quit trying to get a job. I just quit trying to get a job. Every day I get updates from USA Job Search because I was on there real heavy. I had to unsubscribe from quite a few job posting sites because I realized that I made that decision out of fear. I made that decision out of worry. I made that decision because I knew that I did not have the capacity to get out there and work the way I was working. And I had to wrestle with God because it was time for me to trust him. If I'm going to be out here doing all this heart talk and telling y'all to believe and we can overcome and be vulnerable, what do you have to stand on when you being vulnerable? It's your faith. For me to change my life, I just had a conversation this morning with my son. It's almost like tears of joy. But what did I see? I saw the product of doing hard work. I saw what happened when you do hard work. I'm so proud of my boy. And I'm so proud of myself. And a long time ago, I couldn't say that. I couldn't say I was proud of myself because I kept thinking about all the opposition. I kept thinking about all the errors. Are there errors in my life right now? Absolutely. But that's not going to stop me from doing what I need to do. That's not going to stop me from having a heart equity exchange, our live networking events every month. Because I truly believe when business owners, entrepreneurs, career professionals, community advocates get in the room, transformation happens on a cellular level. It happens for the individual, but it changes the world, right? And I understand that sometimes you got to quit the foolishness so that you can make room to walk in your favor and walk by faith into your favor. And I just want to encourage you, wherever you are right now, things might not be going right, but it does not mean that you're wrong. Things might not be going right, but it does not mean that you're in error. If you do see mistakes, if you do see where things can change, take the time, slow down, take some deep breaths, roll up your sleeves, and step by step get the work done. I literally, and I'm saying all of this because I want to encourage you where you are in your situation. I believe in you. Like, I believe that you already have solutions for your problems. I believe that the plan that you wrote down 10 years ago would still work right now if you would just revisit that plan and make up in your mind that you're going to stick to that plan no matter how you feel about it, no matter what type of opposition comes your way. And when you run into situations where you might need to quit, you might run into a situation where there is a dead end. But what is it about a dead end? You go back up the direction you came and you make a new turn. You make another assessment and you go another direction. A dead end does not mean you can't get to the other location. You just need to go from a different perspective. You need to come in from a different vantage point. And what I'm telling you right now is it does not matter what you're going through in your life. What does matter is that you don't give up. Don't give up does not mean that you can't quit. Quit doing the foolishness. Quit giving to people and you not getting nothing back in return. Quit the negative self-talk. Quit talking bad to yourself in your quiet time. Quit being mean to yourself and being surprised when other people being mean to you. Quit thinking less of yourself and being surprised when things don't work out in your favor and don't work out and go your way. You teach people how to treat you. Your thoughts are valuable and your thoughts are powerful. I want you to think about every thought you think in your head like a magnet that is attracting that outcome in your life. So when you look at your opposition and you look at the errors, the mistakes, the things that you can point out, I know you can point out all the blemishes and the imperfections to me if we were to talk about it. But let's focus on how it's going to feel when this thing work out. Let's focus on how you're going to feel when you're able to reach that goal. Let's focus on that. Another thing I want you to understand is it does not matter what you're working towards, but what does matter is your motive behind what you're working towards. I've had a couple conversations, and when I talk to my clients, we're usually working on what are your goals. Like in real estate, you have certain specific goals. I want to get this house. I want to live in this area. I want to do this thing. When I'm working with my coaching clients, I want to get my business to this place, or I want to get my career to this place, or I want to be able to experience this type of joy in my family, or I struggle with my self-esteem. I want to feel better about myself. I want to be more creative. I want to express these things that are in my heart. And then I always want to know why. Why do you want to do that? Why do you want to reach that goal? Why is it important to you to buy this house? Why do you need to save this money? Why do you need your credit to be where you need it to be? Why do you need your children to go to this school? Why do you need your husband to act this way? Why do you need your wife to behave this way? Why do you need your family members to support you in that manner? Why do you need these things to happen? And a lot of times, what happens is we're working so hard at something, but we get exhausted. See, so many people are exhausted. Let me talk about that real quick. We get exhausted. That's why the opposition and the mistakes and the errors get to us so much, because we get exhausted with the work that we're doing. But you know why you're exhausted a lot of times? Because your motives are not right. Your why is not where it needs to be. A lot of times we are doing things in life because we want people to do things in return. We have unspoken expectations. And then when those expectations are not met, then we're upset, we're offended, we're ashamed, we feel guilty, we feel downtrodden, we feel like nothing. This is what always happens to me. This is why I don't like to open up my heart, because people always hurt me. Let's look at who's the common denominator in this. What do you believe about yourself? And what do you believe about love? What do you believe about yourself and love? that is not working for you right now. How you do one thing is how you gonna do everything. And what I told my business class, I kept telling them, and they saw it for themselves. You cannot separate your personal and your professional life, because you're gonna show up in every aspect of those two arenas. And that's one of the reasons why the Heart Equity Exchange is so important to me, because I understand that that's what heart work is. That, like me being a heart coach, I tell people I'm a heart work practitioner. I do multifaceted things, but it all goes back to doing heart work. Healing, honesty, enlightenment, authenticity, revitalization, transformation, right? Like if you heal your heart, you transform your life. I absolutely do. So the Heart Equity Exchange is really focused on you being able to understand how your personal life, and more so what you believe about yourself and the world around you, how that is impacting your bank, how that is impacting your professional life, how that is impacting your business, how that is impacting your relationships, how that is impacting your health, how that is impacting the world around you. Because a lot of times we give our power away. That's why we exhausted. You give your power away instead of harnessing your power. But a lot of us are afraid to harness our power because we've been abused or overlooked. We've been hurt. We've been misunderstood. And because other people don't understand us, we believed the lie and started not understanding. Like, we thought we were confusing. We thought something was wrong with us. Ain't nothing wrong with you. I wrote about that and helped save me from my broken heart. And I encourage you, if you don't have that book, to get it. You ain't nothing wrong with you. There is nothing wrong with you. The only thing that's wrong with you is you think something is wrong with you. The opposition ain't even really opposition. It's shifting your motives. Why are you doing what you do? I used to do so much in my household and my family as a mother, as a wife. I worked full time. And then when I started my business, I would work hard and come home and do things in the house as if I'm a full-time homemaker, like at-home wife. And I would go hard. I would cook, I would clean. You know, I'm showing up to the PTA meetings, volunteering, helping the teacher, doing all the things, doing activism work. I mean, doing so much. And then I started like getting so exhausted and just feeling so tired. And I was so angry with my husband. I felt like, he's not doing enough. He's not supporting me. He's not there for me the way he need to be. I need to be with somebody that get me all the things. My kids are ungrateful. They don't appreciate what I'm doing. All the things. But you know what I had to realize and understand? None of that stuff was